What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius back in for another video, and this time I'm here with the new Rockstars breakdown of the Thunderbolts trailer from the Super Bowl, which of course featured Sentry, the Void, both of them. It's the thing that's been setting the internet, it's been taking the internet by storm. People talk about how OP Sentry looks when him turning people into shadows on the pavement. It's crazy. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that we missed when it came to this trailer. So I decided, hey, let's watch this new Rockstars thing, man. Make sure you go over to them, subscribe to them, support them. They do these great trailer breakdowns. They freaking zoom in on stuff, and they're just like, that says that. If that's in a different language, when you translate this language to this, it actually means this. It's crazy. They're really thorough, and they're the best on YouTube. So go over there, subscribe to them. This is like 25 minutes long, so, grab a snack. I got me a very unhealthy snack. I should be eating better, dude. I'm trying to get in shape. But anyway, grab a snack, man. Let's strap into this one. Let's get it.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss.
Hey, Erik.
Frame-by-frame breakdown of the new trailer for Marvel Studios Thunderbolts. Avengers Tower is officially being
The Watchtower.
reconstructed into Sentry's Watchtower,
Yep.
while the Void entity threatens to swallow.
And I will
the
pause
New York
this when
into
necessary to offer my
whatever
little
Dr. Doom is cooking up for
thoughts.
Avengers Doomsday. Let's break down this trailer shot by shot.
I'm a big
detail by
Sentry
detail,
mark, so I'm
all the
excited
cool
for this
Easter
movie.
eggs and just awesome examples of attention to detail that you might have missed, and for every reason why this movie's going to rock. Also, you can now join New Rockstars as a channel member by hitting that join button down by
Nice.
subscribe. Supporting us as a member gives you access to some custom emotes and early access to ad-free versions of our special rewatch breakdowns,
Okay.
like our current Daredevil rewatch series. All right, let's get started.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not cunning. Who will keep
Look at this, man.
the American people safe?
That's
So we
insane.
open on this shot of Manhattan. Already two things jump out about
Okay.
the geography of this particular shot, based
What?
on the position of the Empire State Building on the right side of the frame, and the super tall condo high-rises that were actually built in New York in the past decade facing Central Park.
Really?
We are looking at Manhattan from the vantage point of New Jersey,
Wow.
specifically Jersey City, the home of Kamala Khan, the view of the city that we saw from that shot of her sitting on that lamppost. But also, we are looking specifically at the part of Manhattan to the west of Midtown that's best known as Hell's Kitchen.
Oh.
So this film will release in May, right as the first season of Daredevil Born Again
Is
comes
ending.
to an end.
Yeah.
So we should note that this is a New York City ruled over
By
by Mayor
Mayor
Wilson
Fisk, yeah.
occupied by the devil of Hell's Kitchen, who's probably gonna have some
This
opinion
show's
on
gonna
what the
rock.
hell is happening to New York City right now. Also, in this upcoming Daredevil season, Kamala Khan's father, Yusuf Khan, is
Oh, that's
going
right.
to appear. So whatever happens to New York City in this Thunderbolts movie, for example, Midtown of the city being swallowed by the Void entity,
Yeah.
that is happening equally.
That's a
to Matt
big
Murdock
event.
And Kamala Khan and all of their friends. Also,
And I personally think Fisk and Val are going to be in cahoots. That's just me.
directly in the center of this shot is where I'm pretty certain Avengers Tower would be located, based on its
Yeah.
real-life location and spot of the MetLife building. And you can see part of what I think is that tower, but we see some additional construction scaffolding in the shot. And
Yep.
we'll see more of it later, but I think Val's organization, OXE, is reconstructing Avengers Tower into Sentry's Watchtower. We got
OXE.
confirmation of OXE and the Watchtower from a high-def close-up of
That's right.
blueprints that we saw in a previous trailer. In the comics, the Watchtower is Sentry's home base,
Yep.
a towering structure with black fins run by an AI called
Clock.
that monitors world's communications. And because reality has been warped to forget Sentry, Bob Reynolds even exists,
Yep.
no one perceives the Watchtower.
Exactly.
And the Avengers Tower just gets built
It gets
up
built
on
on
the
it.
same site. But instead of the reality warping aspect in the comics, we may be getting like a reversal of that, in which Avengers Tower is built first, and then Val, using her resources from the American taxpayer, takes over Avengers Tower
Yep.
via like eminent domain or something, and then rebuilds it into the Watchtower.
Yeah, well, yeah, 'cause she
allow
bought it,
Super
right?
Soldier of Sentry to now either lead a new Avengers lineup or make any other Avengers completely unnecessary. But let's back up even
The Dark
further.
Avengers.
Bob Reynolds, who's played by Lewis Pullman in this movie, was a Marvel hero that was
Yep.
introduced in the early aughts, and kind of this like meta story element that implied that he was actually part of the Marvel Heroes lineup since the early days, but had
I
just
know,
been
right?
kind of like erased from memory. But his backstory is that he was actually part of the Super Soldier program, part of that same history to create another Captain America. But he ends up being given a dosage of a different mixture of the Super Soldier serum that's supposedly like 1,000 times more potent than the version given to Steve Rogers.
Which is insane, dude. What is in that serum that it turns you, like, base serum you get turned to Captain America? I think even Black Widow in the comics has like a super soldier serum, so like she's a little bit underneath Cap. So like, at your weakest, you're Black Widow. At the strongest, you're Superman, basically. What is that? What's in that thing?
and that turns him into Sentry, a Superman-style hero or anti-hero, depending on how you look at him, with a very shaky grip on reality, known for some savage kills of various Marvel characters, and one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel power hierarchy. Now, since Captain America Brave New World this week, we'll touch on the history of the Super Soldier program in America with Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America, and that program's connections to the various Hulk experiments. It is possible that we get at least a wink to the Sentry experiments.
I can definitely see it.
Or at the very least, a cameo from Congressman Bucky, now
Val,
aka Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, returns in this movie after appearances in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Black Widow, and in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She is now the director of the CIA in the MCU. Here she testifies before a congressional panel that includes, hey, Wendell Pierce. Right. He's also going to be playing Perry White in DC Studios Superman this
in my reaction, I think I said Barry White, but I meant Perry.
Val says that the Avengers are not coming back and asks who will keep the American people safe. Now, we know from Captain America Brave New World that President Thaddeus Ross wants Sam Wilson to rebuild the Avengers, and I suppose that process will not be complete by the end of that movie. We know Captain America Brave New World will be set in the MCU timeline year of 2026. Thunderbolts will be set in the MCU timeline year of 2027.
Damn.
Now, the reason Val is saying this about the Avengers is that from the public view within the MCU, the Avengers have been disbanded since the Sokovia Accords were enacted during Captain America's Civil War. And the Avengers coming back together during Infinity War and Endgame happened really outside of any official legal authority. We learned in She-Hulk that the Sokovia Accords were repealed, but the average folks of the MCU just really know that Tony Stark is dead, Steve Rogers is gone, Thor is off-world, Natasha Romanoff is dead, Clint Barton is retired, T'Challa is dead, Doctor Strange was last seen with 3 eyes, leaving through a random rift in reality.
That is
Peter
true.
Parker, who the hell is
Who is that guy?
Maybe there have been rumors of Bruce Banner stuff in group chats with that one random Avenger who came back to Earth during the events of Endgame.
Yeah, they don't know about her, do they? I mean, Kamala does, but like, I don't know.
A lot of people in the MCU probably don't know who Carol Danvers is, which makes it kind of hilarious that Comic-Con worships her so much in Ms. Marvel. But really, everything clearly else they do. About Enough of them do. Just comes from Scott Lang's book, Look Out for the Little Guy. So Val's plan in this movie could be to assemble a new team of Avengers, or to use Super Soldier Bob Reynolds' Sentry to replace the need for Avengers. Like the plot in Captain America Brave New World seems to be the leader's plan to weaponize Red Hulk as a controllable super soldier. Val's plan could be a response to that, to use Sentry as a controllable superpower and their own kind of like walking deployable nuke. So the question is she using the Thunderbolts to extract him so that she can use him and manipulate him? Or is she sending the Thunderbolts there on a suicide mission to kill off the closest things that Earth has to Avengers so that Sentry would have no competition? Kind of like, you know, what Syndrome does in The Incredibles. Now, during this testimony, Val wears all white, which could be a bit of wardrobe symbolism that we've seen used by female American politicians to show feminist solidarity and reference the color of the suffragette movement, but with Val, it's probably also a way for her to look morally pure when in reality she's anything but. Bucky watches Val's testimony and he wears a member of Congress pin. Yes, James Buchanan Barnes is an elected member of the United States House of Representatives in this movie. And I feel like I have to say this in every video. According to the United States Constitution, members of the House of Representatives are never appointed to that position. The seat stays vacant if there's ever a vacancy, and then a special election is held, which means that Bucky had to run for this seat, either in an uncontested primary, but he had to like fill out paperwork and get people to vote for him.
The Winter Soldier,
despite being known as an infamous international assassin and a fugitive. But as I've said, that was probably a plus in most of the congressional districts in this country. During Val's testimony, we see a darkness spreading
Captain America. He's Captain America's buddy.
Who seems to be Sentry from behind, zapping fleeing New Yorkers into shadow streaks. Yikes! But also, yes! As they flee, their bodies are sucked forward into the ground in front of them in the form of a shadow, and that shadow spreads so that each of these victims are parts of the overall spread. This might be one of the most unsettling ways innocent people have been killed in the MCU. I find it even more disturbing than the dusting effect.
It really is.
This would be so frightening to see that happen.
Just like, oh my god.
So what is this? Well, Bob Reynolds' Sentry has a relationship with a malevolent entity known as the Void,
like the damn
which is like a mysterious
after image or whatever
represented as a kind of living
people after atomic bombs. You just see their imprint.
Mind. It's kind of dark passenger. So what we could be seeing is
the
Void overtake.
I just watched this scene from Dexter too. I was scrolling through like Dexter clips on like shorts and stuff, That's funny. He said Dark Passenger.
Sentry's body and then using his powers to wreak havoc on
Exactly,
the city.
yeah.
The attacks on these people remind me of the way the Martian tripods kind of bam all those New Jersey folks in Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Also, the shadow left behind might remind you of the shadows left behind from
See?
victims of atomic blasts,
Yeah.
which is very grim, I know. Now, we did see a similar usage of shadow by Gore, the God Butcher, in
I'd
Thor:
rather
Love and
not think
Thunder,
about him
where Gore could
or that
travel
movie.
in and out of the shadow realm. And at one point, we did enter a monochromatic world of shadow. I don't think Sentry's Void is using the same kind of thing, though. While
No.
this is almost certainly Void Sentry killing these people, we might also be looking at it as
Yeah.
a kind of erasure or a purge, or maybe even a banishment to another realm, maybe even the Void. The Void in the Loki series in Deadpool and Wolverine was, at least until now, not the same thing as Sentry's Void.
That would be
entity.
interesting,
The
though.
TVA Void is a multiversal dumping ground for erased timelines, and they chose that name specifically for the MCU series, without really intending it to connect to the Void as it was known in the Sentry comics. But who knows? This movie might establish that Bob Reynolds' Sentry is so powerful that his Void
He can connect to the damn-
rattles the very border
Yeah.
of reality, and this Void is trying to draw people and things into a kind of reality abyss, which
That's
could
insane,
lead
dude,
to
still.
that same old Void dumping ground used by the TVA and seen in Deadpool and Wolverine. There have just been a lot of rumors that we're going to revisit the Void as we move forward into Avengers Doomsday.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Avengers Secret
It's gonna show up
Wars,
in
that
Doomsday or
Robert Downey
something.
Jr.'s Doctor Doom could stitch together pieces of broken realities that end up down in the Void to
Battle
create
World.
Battle World. So
That's
this Thunderbolts
true.
film could show us how parts of the 616 MCU
I don't know
get
about that,
erased
but-
from this reality to join the
Yeah.
broken parts of the New York from the Galactus wrecked Earth and Fantastic Four First Steps. All to set up enough broken pieces of different universes in the multiverse
God, him
for
with his
Doctor Doom
glasses
to
on,
build
dude.
Battle
Come on
World
now,
and
take 'em
Doomsday
off, you're
and Secret
Doom.
Wars. All right, on to the next clip.
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be? I love that guy.
I love it.
All right,
It's
here,
just like What
Bucky
If.
reacts to the Void overtaking Manhattan from a street view, and we get this terrifying overhead shot of the shadow enveloping the city's buildings. But as the shadow spreads outward, block by block, you can see how one of those towers has forked fins sticking out from the top. I think that might be how Avengers Tower will look
Yeah,
when it
yeah,
becomes the Watchtower. Then in another shot, Bucky has tied up Red Guardian and Ghost, John Walker, and Yelena Belova, and enlists them to help him fight
And Taskmaster's not there.
some huge threat, probably talking about Val and Sentry, and I presume this would be happening after Bucky caught these other
After he
four
caught
in
him, yeah.
Lexi's red limo and flipped it, following the escape of Bob Reynolds from that desert compound. Inside this location, it kind of looks like an armory, maybe like a remote weapons cache that Bucky kept in some random location from his Winter Soldier days. It's sort of like in Terminator 2. Remember, they pull up that underground bunker that's full of heavy weapons, just
Haven't
in the
actually
middle
seen
of
the full
desert,
movie.
waiting to be drawn upon one day, and
I
that
know.
would fit perfectly with
Crucify
the move
me.
Bucky pulls in this movie to catch the crew, which looks just like the T-800 in Terminator 2 on his motorcycle.
That's funny.
And yes, this is another example of a scene in this movie where Taskmaster is not
She's
with
going to
them.
die.
I feel like Antonia Dreykov will not survive that early confrontation with Bob Reynolds.
Yeah.
On to the next clip.
So,
I hope so.
comply?
Give us Tony
So
Masters,
what,
man.
we all just punch and shoot?
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
That's Bob with her, too.
As we saw in the last trailer, Yelena steps off of this building, and I believe this is Merdeka 118 in Kuala Lumpur, the second tallest building in the world after the Burj Khalifa. To step off of this building
Khalifa.
and not smack into that extension that sticks out several floors below, Yelena would have had to take quite a bit of a Peter Pan kickoff, and it doesn't look like she did that.
No.
But obviously, she's fine. This must be part of the same sequence where she walks away from that exploding floor of a building with a guinea pig in her arms. Then we see Bucky headbutting an armed soldier. The last hit that takes down a group along with John and Ava and Yelena
And no
Alexei.
Taskmaster.
I'm pretty sure that this is the lobby floor level of Avengers Tower. This would be the same lobby
Oh,
where Loki
okay.
was detained, and in Avengers Endgame, the Tesseract went sliding across the floor to his feet. This would be after Bucky and Alexei plow that moving van through the lobby glass a little later in this trailer.
That's how they get
February
up
is a
there.
Great month. Val chats with her assistant Mel, played by Geraldine Viswanathan. It looks like they're on their way to or away from the event that we've seen in the other trailer footage, where lots of Battle of New York Easter eggs
That's
are
right.
on display as relics at some like fundraiser event. Then in a cloud of nerve gas, all these characters wearing gas masks, Yelena fires on John Walker's shield without realizing it's him. And you'll notice behind Yelena, that appears to be Bob Reynolds, still wearing that medical
handcuffed,
gown
though.
clothes that they find him in at this same facility. Okay, as the trailer moves on, we start to hear more of Starship's Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now from 1987. It's just like one of the best songs about overcoming all odds to just stick together when it doesn't make sense for you to stick with someone. You might know this from the 2014 movie The Skeleton Twins, where Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader lip sync it to each other. It's It's just like one of my favorite scenes ever. Yelena walks up to this desert compound atop the spiral rock formation, which is where I'm pretty sure Bob Reynolds is being kept. Now, this is a pretty odd mound, and I'm wondering if the emergence that caused Tiamat to surface in the Indian Ocean could have had a Tiamat toe poking out on the other side of this definitely spherical globe of a planet that caused some new ruptures in the mounds in the terrain in the American Southwest. And you can call me crazy, but Captain America Brave New World is totally revisiting Tiamat.
Yes.
In fact, is establishing that Tiamat is a source of adamantium in the MCU. So if this is connected to that Tiamat body sticking through the middle of the earth like a skewer, the other part of him could be like an adamantium mining site or an adamantium fortified prison to contain Bob Reynolds. So did they hide Bob in Tiamat? And we see a shot of Congressman Barnes firing machine guns in the Avengers Tower penthouse suite, and then more shots of the base where they find Bob, where the members of the team are fighting each other.
The only place we see Taskmaster.
An explosive arrow at John's shield, and that shield does a decent job protecting him from the blast. Now remember, John did take the.
It's made out of adamantium,
so it makes sense that his body would be able to take the hit. But now I'm really wondering what his shield is made out of. Where did he get his shield? Obviously, Captain America's shield is in the hands of Sam Wilson now, but we should note that that shield that Sam has came from Old Man Steve Rogers, and that is a new shield that Old Man Steve got from whatever alternate universe or alternate timeline
I didn't think about that.
Came from. That is not the shield that he bought.
I never thought about that. I never thought about it because, whoa, I legitimately never thought. Well, I guess because like he went back. I'm trying to think, he went back and put all the stones back, and then he went to go see and stay with Peggy. So that's crazy, yeah. So I guess he just went back to that point where he had the shield. Okay, all right. But that's crazy still.
With and the Battle of Earth. The broken pieces of that original Captain America shield were scattered somewhere in the debris field of the Battle of Earth in Avengers.
I never thought about that until now.
We don't know what happened to it from there, but we do know that some others were combing this debris field from Nick Fury's involvement with the Harvest, where Fury used scrolls to recover Avengers DNA for this battle. I know. But hey, maybe also Cap's broken shield was recovered and reforged into the shield that John Walker now carries. But the original vibranium may just now have a weaker structural integrity.
I think the obvious answer is it's adamantium. Coming off the events of Brave New World, and now that they have adamantium, they gave him an adamantium shield.
After that reforging process. Yelena chats with this gagged guy in this lab that looks like it's part of the Kuala Lumpur mission with the guinea pig. I've theorized in the past that she could be finding some of the red vials that are connected to the Black Widow antidote.
You seem yellow though.
If this is part of the investigation into the super soldier serum that was used to turn
some yellow vials over there.
Sentry. Like maybe we're gonna see a completely yoked reality warping guinea pig as a test example. Bucky says,
like the boys,
do something about it now or live with it forever. And I get the sense that he might be talking about some past mistakes of his own that have haunted him over the decades, like I don't know, murdering
the
Howard
Starks.
Stark and Maria Stark, which was the first event that planted the seeds of the conflict that would one day split the Avengers apart. So Bucky and Alexei plow their moving van into the Avengers Tower lobby, and they look like they're having such a good time. But then we get this scary moment.
I love it.
Bucky's punch is caught, and the vibranium pieces of his arm shift around, recalling the way the arm looked when the Dora Milaje disabled it and from the Winter Soldier. So this is being caught by Sentry. But I assume the voice that we hear might actually be the Void coming out of Sentry, and that could be why it sounds double layered on top of Bruce Pullman's voice.
You thought you were going to be some great savior?
It sounds so good.
You can't even save yourself.
And then Sentry yanks
the fact that, well, yeah, never mind.
That vibranium arm clean off without having to do the
like I know that's also how powerful he is.
That AO did, and then chucks that arm after the Congress.
See, because like look, Bucky's on the ground right there. I wonder if he like punched him and took the arm off. You know, like I wonder if he just like as he punched him and he flew, the arm came off. That'd be insane. It's like Colossus in Days of Future Past got his arm just completely punched off.
To the other laid out Thunderbolts. There's a shot of Sentry's Void form hovering over the landing.
So we're all in agreement on that. This is more. This is Void form.
Some of the extra scaffolding extending above to turn it into the Watchtower. You can also see a helicopter parked on the landing pad and the glass blown out from the window. So this would be after Sentry threw Red Guardians out of that window. But at first I thought this shot of Sentry might have just been front lit, and that could be why he appears cast in shadow from our point of view. But actually, no, this is how the Void looks. He's a blacked out silhouette in the shape
Love
of
it.
Sentry. And I think it looks so freaking
I
cool.
love
But
it.
in the shot of Red Guardian zipping out the window, this would be the closest
Yep.
look at Sentry's
See the yellow.
non-voided out form. You can see his long, shaggy blonde hair, his metallic bracers, and it's
The yellow.
comic accurate.
Yep.
And again, in that high-def close-up of all the OXC paperwork and the Watchtower.
So I think he was, like,
blueprints,
mid-transformation.
you can see how Val and OXC tested out different haircuts for how they wanted Sentry to look, and
Yep.
they just settled on, I suppose, Kurt Cobain. But
Right.
we
my,
should ask.
my friend, a friend of mine called him Nirvana Superman.
If Red Guardian gets thrown out of the window like this, I hope he lands on the landing pad outside. It does extend pretty
He
far.
does-
but
I
he
know.
gets thrown pretty
He
hard.
goes
And if
pretty
he were to
far and
overshoot
high.
that platform, if none of the Thunderbolts can fly, who would be able to catch him? Maybe that anonymous nobody named Spider-Man?
No.
Khan?
Stop
Using
it.
That hard light
None
to
of
catch
them.
him? I don't know. I just think there's room for someone to step in.
No
and
one's
help
get-
here.
no.
As they step away from Avengers Tower on the sidewalk, you can see how John Walker's shield looks extremely big.
Never mind, it's not adamantium. I mean, I don't know if is Sentry powerful enough to break adamantium? I don't know. So, all right, I'm walking that back. Maybe it is vibranium still. And as we saw, he was able to take off a vibranium arm and like just casually toss it. So maybe
Bent. And
I never
think
noticed
that's
that.
more of a statement on Sentry's strength than whatever this shield is made out of. We get a close.
I don't know. Can he bend adamantium?
In this dark setting, I wonder if this might be Yelena after she steps into the shadow of the void. So the trailer places this downtrodden moment in the middle of the trailer, but I think this exchange among the team might be taking place at the end of the movie, unless this movie ends in a very bleak cliffhanger that spells doom for the 616 universe. John Walker reads the Fall of a Hero article. I broke down the text of that in our last Thunderbolts trailer breakdown, and this is classic Google yourself doom scrolling. That is never a good idea,
Don't do that.
especially when your child is screaming for that milk bottle. We also hear
Right.
Alexi's words about being the only people in the world who can look at each other and
Again,
not see their
no
mistakes
Taskmaster.
because they too have made those mistakes. Ends up working on Yelena. Alexi pitches that they can be named the Thunderbolts, and Bucky says that they can't call themselves that, maybe because as a congressman or just really any American, the recent Red Hulk president, Darius Ross, had a moniker of Thunderbolt. So
Yeah.
however Captain America
Maybe.
Brave New World ends, I assume it will be in disgrace for President Ross. All right, in this section, we see our widest shot of what's going on with Avengers Tower
Yep.
and how two long crane arms are helping construct additional pieces of the tower on both
see them on
sides
the,
to completely change the silhouette of the building in the New York skyline. And that feels like a completely unnecessary and pointed insult to the Avengers
It really
and to
does.
Tony Stark's memory.
They changed it
Also,
that
you'll notice
much.
those central windows on the original Avengers Tower structure were once blue, now they're yellow. Making
Yep.
this whole thing black and yellow, or Sentry colors. But now I'm wondering what parts of Tony Stark's original infrastructure in that building would Val and OXC need to keep in place to build it this way? Is there still like a Stark arc reactor technology that keeps the building hardwired with renewable energy? Is this the type of energy that irradiates and powers up Sentry into the void form he takes? Could it be connected to any residual radiation from when this same building had opened a space stone portal in the sky
knows?
above New York in the 2012 Avengers film? Then we see the group running through the storage room that Yelena has walked through in the other trailer footage. As an explosion now tears through it, Ghost holds the blast door open while Yelena, John Walker,
And no
and Tom
Taskmaster.
leap through it. Then we get these great solo character cards.
keep bringing
These
it up.
actually remind me of the closing credits to the Predator movie. You know, remember when movies used to do that? And I kind of feel like that era of action movie
Shane
is what
Black.
Thunderbolts seems to be going for now. Tonally.
I've never seen you know, the Predator movie. I know Shane Black is like director. He directed The Predator, which I heard was awful, but it's interesting.
Okay, Sentry's void form causes a helicopter to crash, and that helicopter
I
hits
love
the
it.
crane, suspending some of the scaffolding. So that might end up with some huge pieces of this new Watchtower
Yep.
construction coming tumbling down. We come back to that awesome Terminator shot of Bucky firing the undercarriage grenade disc. This was the same weapon he used
Yep.
on Nick Fury's SUV and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Then John, Alexi, Ava, and Yelena hold up a piece of tipping rubble. I'm wondering who's being threatened here. Is there like a family trapped in a car from our vantage point?
There's also like a spot missing here. Like, damn, looking at it. Sorry. There's a spot missing here. Which now I'm starting to think, like, are they taking Taskmaster out on purpose to... No. Could there be somebody else here? I don't know.
And we aren't seen in the shot. Either way, I love seeing them work together. Then Red Guardian tells the others while driving his red limo that he dreams of them all being on the Wheaties box with the little kiddie toy. This comes from Alexei envying the positive spin and fame that Captain America got on American products as a national hero, but he never got that when he was in Russia. Marvel Studios did release an official poster depicting the whole group on a Wheaties box.
I know.
And on the side you can see now with more Bucky.
I
love the action
I didn't see
here.
that
Bucky
part.
using his vibranium arm to deflect this rolling news van from these two elderly people.
Hope there's no one in there.
Cool. Then perhaps the most interesting shot of the trailer, Yelena steps into the void shadow.
Yeah.
Now this is followed by a shot of the others, making it look like they are following her, but if you look closely
She's
at
behind
that
them.
shot, behind that group, you can see Florence Pugh's hair. So I think that is like a group march from a different moment of the
Or is it Bob's hair?
movie. So what's gonna happen when Yelena steps into that shadow? Where will this void take her? Well, there's a chance that this all just cleans up nicely. Like maybe Yelena enters the shadow as a way to communicate with the entity and with Bob Reynolds to like emotionally heal them and then lift the veil off the city. And the Thunderbolts will rebrand themselves
Talk no
as an
jutsu.
Avenger team, and the 616 MCU will live on to fight another day. A new official synopsis was released stating, after finding themselves ensnared in a death trap set by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, these disillusioned cast-offs must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past.
Oh, you are gonna go
the
through some
death
shit.
trap, I believe, was to put these B-side Avengers in front of Sentry to be killed, and worked on Taskmaster. But now I wonder if this movie might be making The Void more of a psychological storm in which Yelena Belova mentally revisits her dark past as an assassin from the Red Room.
It's probably gonna
Personally,
suck.
I hope that's not the case. I hope this team of Avengers sacrifice themselves and fall through an incursion rift in reality
Stop it.
to wherever the Fantastic Four end up.
Stop
After
it.
Galactus destroys their Earth. Call
Stop
it
it.
the Void, call it some other space.
That's not
But
gonna
let's be
happen.
honest, are we going to see this Avengers lineup fight in any other battle
Yes.
before everyone meets each other in Avengers
Well,
Doomsday? No.
no.
My big dream theory that I pitched in our Fantastic Four First Steps trailer breakdown is that
It's
Marvel
not gonna
Studios
happen.
could use the Statue of Liberty as
Oh
a
my
visible
God,
anchor
Eric,
point
come
to
on,
link
man.
all the universes in this toggling multiverse.
Eric, you
Since
gotta
the Statue
stop
of
it,
Liberty
man.
has been a recurring landmark in several Marvel movies and a symbol to all as a pathway to freedom.
It's not
or to
gonna
a new
happen.
world. We saw it in X-Men 2000. We saw it in Spider-Man No Way Home.
gotta give it a
in
rest.
Fantastic Four First Steps now. Let's not forget Venom: The Last Dance, and in Avengers Endgame, it was where
Really?
a bunch of boats had washed up to. So, whatever the physical status the Statue of Liberty is in could tell the Marvel heroes what Marvel apocalypse they are currently in the ruins of as they navigate the void as Doctor Doom is turning it into
I don't think
Battleworld.
it's gonna
In
happen.
this case, there could be a version of the Statue of Liberty, which would be a bronze-colored one draped in shadow. Just a theory. I think it could be really cool though. And one
No, what's gonna happen is that they're gonna go through the void. They're gonna experience their nightmares and whatnot. They're gonna talk no jutsu Sentry down because he's a mentally unstable person, so it's probably easier to do that. They're gonna talk no jutsu him, and then he's probably gonna, I don't know, fuck off and leave or something. And then they're gonna be branded the Avengers. And then by the time of Avengers Doomsday, when Sam has his Avengers, Bucky could be leading his Avengers. It's like Avengers v Avengers. It's like what's going on here? That might happen. I think that'd be pretty nuts. And then Sentry could be a part of that. That Avengers team. I think he will have him versus Thor. When it comes time for Battle World, you do Avengers versus Avengers. I mean, you'd think Sam's Avengers would win because they probably have more people with actual powers, but they got the Sentry. We have a Hulk. I mean, I'm kidding. Hulk ain't doing shit anymore, dude. That dude's a joke.
final detail, you may have noticed how the Thunderbolts title card has changed.
Yeah, it's changed again.
Typeface since past trailers. A much thicker, bold typeface, resulting in the asterisk now having 5 points instead of 6 in the past version. Now, Marvel Studios did release another new international poster with the 6-pointed asterisk in each character and each point, and that does include Taskmaster in one of them. And in Yelena's point, you can see Bob poking in and
That's
waving
funny.
sheepishly. And at the bottom of this poster, they include an asterisk clarification. The Avengers are not available.
That's hilarious.
God bless international markets for having no time for any of Marvel Studios' marketing bullshit with this asterisk. And this further suggests that the Thunderbolts is indeed a placeholder team name that will be changed to Avengers or Dark Avengers by the end of the movie. But why the 5-pointed star now? Could this be further proof that there's no room for Taskmaster?
Maybe they're like just maybe it's starting to get to the point where like it's so obvious that I'm just like they might be playing us here. Who knows?
this final team lineup. So this week on New Rockstars will be our coverage of Captain America Brave New World. We're gonna have an explanation of the ending and the post-credit scene coming Thursday evening, and an in-depth Easter egg breakdown coming on Friday. And on that same day,
I will watch
over on
that
our
after
Break
the
Room
movie.
channel will be our live stream Q&A, honest review of the film. We're not gonna pull any punches, and we're curious to hear your thoughts. So join us for that live stream on the Break Room channel. Comment down below with your thoughts on
Yeah,
this Thunder.
they even put up their non-spoiler review of Captain America today, I think so. I haven't watched it. I've watched a couple reviews, but I don't know. I think I'll leave it at a couple reviews. But yeah, Friday I go see Captain America Brave New World, and I will have my review up as soon as I can afterwards. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell click so you don't miss when I upload that bad boy. Great video from New Rockstars as always. Went a little too down the rabbit hole with the whole, they're gonna end up with the Fantastic Four universe. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, bro. Talk no jutsu, the end. This is what's gonna happen. But yeah, make sure once again go over to their channel, subscribe to them. All right. Make sure to leave a like on the video, on their video as well, and mine here, so that you let me know that you like these, reactions to this New Rockstar stuff. It helps out the channel so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.